How many of us have based our decisions and counsel on experience and not on the Word? How many of us have excused ourselves from commands in the Bible because of our age? Saying, I'll get serious about this when I'm older. Or, I've done my time, I've served long enough, now it's somebody else's turn. By the way, when both of those are going on at the same time, nobody does anything, right? How many of us have allowed our emotions to run our lives? Chasing after the emotions and wanting to be happy. How many of us have allowed a religious tradition to dictate our actions and tell us how we do things? How many of us have used intelligence to manipulate Scripture? So far we'd say none of us have done that, but listen, grabbing a verse here, grabbing a verse there, and making it say what we want it to say. How many of us have allowed our desire for health and wealth to start treating God like he's some magic genie, and his word is like this map for us for temporary earthly treasures? How many of us have based our decisions on how we feel about something? The reality is, we've all done at least one of these things at some point in time. I'm going to be so bold to say that the reality is, we've probably done all of these things at one point or another. But experiences don't tell us how to look at Scripture. Scripture tells us how to look at our experiences. Our age doesn't give us permission to excuse passages of Scripture. Scripture tells us how to use our age for his glory and for the good of others. Emotions don't tell us how to look at Scripture. Scripture tells us how to process our emotions. Religion doesn't get to inform us as to how to interpret Scripture. Scripture tells us how to evaluate our religion. Intelligence doesn't give us permission to play around with the Scripture. Scripture tells us how to properly use our intelligence. Health and wealth do not get to tell us how to use or misuse the Scripture to bring about more health and wealth. Scripture instructs us what to do and how to use our health and our sickness, our wealth and our poverty. And the Scriptures are not there to back up our feelings or our intuitions. God doesn't speak to us through feelings and intuitions. He speaks to us through the Scriptures. That's how God talks to his people. Now you see a thread running through all of these statements? I didn't use the word, but listen. My experiences, my age, my emotions, my religion, my intelligence, my health, my wealth, my feelings, my intuitions. Have you ever looked through binoculars backwards? You know what I mean by that? You ever take the bigger lens and stick them on your eye and see what you can see through them? Come on now, be honest. I have. If I'm the only one, then so be it. Let me tell you, it doesn't work. When I point the binoculars at me and I try to look through them, everything's really far away and really warped, messed up. I can't really see what's going on. It's not the way that it was built to work. And Scripture's kind of like that. When we read the Bible as if it all points to us, that it points to me and my feelings and my desires, that God does everything for me and my happiness right here and now, it messes everything up. And then we have to get clever. We have to get clever and devise ways to write and to read to make it appear to work. We got to convince ourselves that this is what the Bible's teaching us. But it doesn't. It never works. It never works that way. And it ends up leaving us just disappointed, as if God has failed. But he never fails. We have this problem because we forget sometimes the Bible doesn't point to us. The Bible doesn't point to me. The Bible points me to Jesus. The Bible points you to Jesus and the glory of God. Remember, God is the author. And when you turn the Bible around and read it the way he intended for it to be used, then you will find the greatest joy. Then you will find majestic glory and have everything you need for life and godliness.